Yeah, if you look at the issues, Yamiche is right. He's doing exactly what he said. It's right. It's the noise. It's the ground noise that he's throwing out there. Also, whether he's questioning, Mark, the legitimacy of federal judges to do what they have done since Marbury v. Madison. It's when he says that the media is the, quote, enemy of the people, where he sounds more like Mussolini or Lenin, which obviously causes concern. That phrase right there makes him sound more like a dictator in training. When he sends Stephen Miller out and says basically the president has absolute power, he shall not be questioned.
I think
those are the side issues that I think should legitimately concern people who say, yes, I agree with his immigration order, but, you know, let's go ahead and keep the system of checks and balances in the Constitution.
All that stuff needs to be, we need to be vigilant about, both in the press and in the general political discussion. But I think of the big things like immigration, tax cuts, health care, infrastructure, regulation, that's the policy that's going to affect the real lives of real people. And I have not seen a divide as clear as what we're seeing on immigration. Great concern about how it'll be implemented, great concern, justified, legit concern. How are people going to be affected by this? But anyone who thinks this is not an enactment of exactly what he talked about wasn't paying attention. And I think you see just this huge divide. You see people saying, this is horrible policy. From Donald Trump's point of view and the supporter of the tens of millions of people who voted for him, this is America trying to get control of its borders back, of trying to enforce the law, and in a very aggressive way where there will clearly be human costs. But from their point of view, and Donald Trump talked about this almost every event, there's a human cost to the status quo. And his supporters didn't want it. And so now we're going to see a big policy discussion, as there should be.
Well, I agree with Yamiche and Mark that he's certainly doing what he said he was going to do, but if you went through, Mark, the list of 4 or 5 things that you just ticked off, he's only really done 1 or 2 of them. The hardest ones are yet to come. Taxes, Obamacare, things like that. He still has to tell us what exactly he's going to do and whether he's going to deliver.
And our job in the media is pretty simple. It's to, you know, just as best we can, ignore all the fake media charges and even, you know, enemies of the American people. People get that, and just do our jobs. The cost of immigration. What is going to be the cost of implementing this? The financial cost? The human cost? What's going to be the cost and the impact of any tax reform package? And just do it every day with details, every single day.
I think that's